99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos. Once again, welcome to the Crossfire. Yes. We are back finally on a Monday morning to talk about that topic we've been talking about on Twitter since yesterday. As a matter of fact, the moment we post the teaser on Twitter, Nigeria took it away from us and they started talking about it. So it's time to get on that conversation. Welcome. This is the Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're here to serve you with some really interesting conversations all day, all night. I am Sheriff Quadry. You can listen live right now on our website, nigeriainfo.fm. That is nigeriainfo.fm. You can also watch live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. This is Nigeria Space Info Space 99.3 on Facebook and YouTube. Drop your comments there because we're about to have this conversation about our power sector. And we're asking this question this morning. Can Nigeria ever attain power sufficiency? That is the question that we're posing to you out there. We would like to know your thoughts. If you're a stakeholder in the power sector, please come in, join the conversation. All right, I have Adegbenle, the executive director, Power of Nigeria, joining me right now on Skype. Tayo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
It's good to have you.
Nice to be back in the studio as well.
It's good to have you here. So let's start and let's just get into it. In spite of the fact that electricity generation started in Nigeria way back in 1896, that was when electricity generation started in Nigeria. The first electricity utility company, known as, you can guess, NEPA. Well, back then they were known as Nigeria Electricity Supply Company. It was established in 1929. Now, fast forward to year 2000. National Electric Power Authority, NEPA, was in charge of the generation. NEPA was in charge of transmission. NEPA was in charge of distribution of electric power in Nigeria. Call it the monopoly of power then. So back then, NEPA had a total generation capacity of about 6,200 megawatts. In year 2000, please follow this conversation very well. In year 2000, NEPA had a total generation capacity of about 6,200 megawatts from 2 hydro and 4 thermal power plants. Now, since 1999, successive administrations in Nigeria have not resolved the biggest issue facing Nigeria, which is energy poverty. Lack of energy, lack of power. It leaves this question begging for an answer. Can Nigeria ever attain power sufficiency? Tayo, again, welcome. Tayo, let us start this way. We have spent, it's on record, we have spent about $20 billion since 1999 on the quest for sufficient power in Nigeria. $20 billion. Put that in naira. That's about 7.8 trillion naira. With no commensurate improvement at all. In 2008, the House of Reps, after a probe into how the $20 billion disappeared into the power sector, also confirmed that the bulk of that money, about $16 billion, was frittered away in bogus contracts during the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo between 1999 and 2007. Corruption, Tayo, please help me here, has persisted in that sector even till now. True or false?
All right, Sheriff, let me start from the background that you laid. The year that Nigeria started generating power,
right,
which we noted that that's barely 5 years after the UK started. Put that into perspective.
Barely 5 years after UK started generating their own power.
Barely 5 years.
Oh my God!
So I mean, we had good contemporaries when we are talking about who we started out with. Now, secondly, you mentioned that Nigeria had about 6,000 generating capacity as at 2000.
Right.
Let's also put that in another perspective, because as at year 2000, we barely have 1,600 of this capacity reaching consumers. And again, see, there is no way we can proceed on any issue without having the background information, without having the requisite historical background.
Exactly.
Before year 2000, there was a hiatus of about 20 years of no investment at all in the power sector. I mean, the last power generating plant that was launched was done in 1982. You know, and between 1985 and 1999, not one single investment was made in the power sector.
Oh my!
Now, also put this into the perspective that Nigeria's population kept on increasing. I mean, we're talking about 58 million in 1982, 85 thereabout,
right,
to about 70 something million in 2000, 2000. So we had 20 years of no investment, 20 years of population growth, and of course, for people that are familiar with economics and everything, basically what we're talking about is we have a resource, the case where we have more people to less resource.
Right.
So that is the background. Now, in 1999, when we had the advent of the new democratic government, one of the things that the President Obasanjo's administration did, was to look at the monolithic NEPA structure and say, where are the corruption points? What are the issues? And one of them they find out was the huge corruption cesspool in the sector. I'm very sure people that were familiar with that conversation will also remember that we had the late Minister of Justice, was Minister of Power, Chief Bola Ige, the late Chief Bola Ige, saying, we'll solve this thing in 6 months. Unfortunately, the thing blew up in his face because by the time he got there, he was so enmeshed in trying to sort out what are the corruption issues we had in Nepal that even the focusing on the investment or improving the power sector was not even the major point of conversation at that initial stage. I mean, so those were the backgrounds that we had. Now, President Obasanjo then looked at the old system and said, okay, you know what? Why don't we break NEPA down and bring in private investors? Of course, we all know that Nigeria is always short of cash. We all know that if government, and then again, there was this argument then, that government was meant to provide a good environment for businesses to thrive. Right. That business does not have any, government does not have any business in doing business. So, of course, one of the major economic policy drift then was let's move to privatization. So, started off the power sector reform. I want you to also mind my choice of word there. Right. It's called power sector reform, right? Which privatization is just a subset of. Okay. Right. So, unfortunately, without trying to call anybody up or put anybody on the hot seat, the news or the narrative that went out was immediately we start privatization, all our power sector problems has been resolved. But unfortunately, that was a wrong impression. Even till now, I mean, of course, our experience, I've also shown us that it is not, a silver bullet. We have all seen it. So, I mean, we are living it. We are living it. It's not something anybody, can be told. So, so started the power sector reform, which was led by privatization. Now, the idea of privatization is break down the monolithic NEPA structure. Right. Out of it, we had 11 distribution networks. We had about 6 or 7 GENCOs then. No, we have about 5 GENCOs, generating companies then. Then we have the TCN, that the federal government held on to. So we had processes. Then again, another thing that a lot of people also tend to have forgotten or ignored was that the World Bank was brought in, right, to advise Nigeria on the best way forward on our privatization. And they gave us three different scenarios. Out of the three scenarios, we decided to go with privatizing the discos, privatizing the gencos, and for some security arguments, the government said, okay, you know what, we don't want to leave everything to the private sector. Let's hold on to TCN, which is transmission. Now, the interesting part of it is that after 2013, I mean, eventually, I mean, the privatization process started in 2003.
Right.
The Regulating Act was signed into Act to law in 2005. There was some other addendums in 2007. But the first place where we had the first issue or first challenge was when late President Yar'Adua came on board and said, you know what, put everything on hold. So we had another pause of some 2 years, 2-3 years before President Jonathan came back and said, you know what, let's just push this thing through. Now, eventually the private sector came on board November 1st, 2013. This is not without its own challenges. I mean, we had the union kicking against it, top engineers in NEPA saying no.
I remember very well. Yes.
I mean, those are the kind of, so I mean, that's the background to the conversation that we had. But fortunately, well, we pushed through. 2013, they came on board. By 2013, we had a regulatory body, which is the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Right.
We had the 11 discos, which Nigeria Info presently falls under Eco Electricity Distribution PLC.
Right.
Then, of course, Lagos had to Eco and Ikeja.
Right.
Then we had the remaining 9 across the country.
Right.
Then government held on to transmission.
Right.
Now, part of the issues too, initially, was that because of the peculiar nature of Nigeria, a lot of people didn't believe that we were going to pull through that privatization. So even World Bank too asked for some sort of guarantee. Now, so, and again, on the issue of 16 billion naira that was frittered away, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion on that. The truth about it is that the figure that was spent during the privatization process was not up to 16 billion. There are a lot of literature reviews for whoever that's interested in checking that out. And like I'm always eager to say, President Obasanjo, under one of the books that he wrote, volume 2 of My Watch, detailed how the processes went, how the issue of $16 billion came on board, and I mean a lot of heads went for it. Late President Yar'Adua was much interested in investigating it. Right. The National Assembly, as of 2008, 2009 too, did a lot of investigations. Right. And eventually, of course, like every major scandals in Nigeria, everybody just swept it under the table, despite the fact that nobody was able to prove that up to $16 billion was spent. Now, where the money really went to was into the process of consultancy and things. Then don't also forget that along the line, the federal government also started a project called NIPP. Now, the idea of NIPP is this: what are the immediate point of intervention? Right? Issues were discovered in generation, in transmission substations, and stuff like that. Right. And even as of today, our transmission network is not complete yet. We still have an open loop transmission network, right? Which also is responsible for most of the losses that we experienced on the transmission network. Do you understand? Yeah. So part of the immediate intervention was, okay, you know what? We don't have, TCN doesn't have a substation in Kobakwe, for instance. They initiated it. I think Okearotu was one of the NIPPs then. They started it. Now, those are the point. I mean, you have a long stretch, but you have to drop distribution points, so that it can easily distribute and everything. Those are the places where the money went to, the initial spending went to. Right. And most of them also, I mean, for a system that has not been done, that no investment has been done in 20 years, they have to do a lot of system upgrades and everything. I mean, it's like driving an old car, right? If you buy an old one of the first things you do is to do your alignment, to take it to the mechanics, you do the services of the car.
Right.
And when you not tell anybody that, I bought that car $1 million, let's assume you buy it at 750, but you have used like 50,000 to do painting, panel beating work.
Yeah.
People, when you bring the car, people were wondering, but that car, I saw it's advertised at 750. How come you arrive at 1 million?
Right.
Those are the kind of little issues. But you see, again, we have spent too much time on throwing banters on the issue of corruption or no corruption.
Yeah.
Because this is personal. Now, this is my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm alleged to be a thief, right, and Nigerian police come in to investigate me, and they found me to actually have stolen something, the next natural thing for them to do was to charge me to court. Since we've been throwing this issue of 20 billion, 16 billion, somebody took money like that.
Yeah.
Have you heard anybody charged to court?
Yeah, that's
convicted on that.
That's exactly the question that amongst other questions that Nigerians are asking. But Tayo, quickly, let's stay with this corruption issue a bit longer, and that's because Nigeria, for some reasons, have been quite unfortunate in striking deals in the global electricity market. You mentioned the Gencos earlier. And we have tried on so many occasions to strike deals. We have even struck deals that have backfired, that are backfiring right now. Remember PNID? Nigeria is still fighting tooth and nail to upturn a $9 billion fine following the failure of a gas and supply processing agreement, GSPA, with PNID. Yeah. We are still there. Remember the Mambila Power Project as well in Taraba, with Sunrise Power and Transmission Company Limited. That one is still there as well. The company is asking for $2.3 billion in compensation for alleged breach of contract over the 3,050 megawatt hydropower facility there. So it's almost like some people go into negotiations on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria and strike some really ridiculous. Now, the latest is Azura Edo IPP, a power generating private company. That's another case in point, actually. Now, currently, Nigeria is obligated. Nigeria, by contractual agreement, is obligated to pay over 12 billion naira to Azura for power generated. Now, whether this power gets to our houses or not, that's not in the contract. As long as they generate power, you will be paying them money. In addition to paying for power generated, Nigeria is also footing a yearly 5 billion naira bill for gas supply to Azura. Now, we supply gas to Azura, even though the cost of gas is already part of the tariff approved for the plant. We still pay them 5 billion naira yearly. Now, that's also part of the contractual agreement with Azura. Now that the arrangement is experiencing some kind of setbacks, the country will have to pay Azura a whopping 465 billion naira if we decide to exit the pool call option agreement in that particular contract. Tayo, who did this to us? Who are the people negotiating on our behalf?
No, practically what you are referring to, Sharif, there is the normal PPA, that is Power Purchase Agreement, which is an international standard, Power Purchase Agreement basically is an agreement to say, yes, we need power. You have the funds to invest, to develop a power plant. We are assuring you that if you put up the power plant, we are going to buy the power from you. Now, with this, we are coming down to the meat of the conversation.
Exactly.
You see, when the old NEPA PHCM was broken down, the idea was this: let private investors handle generation, right? Because we assume that they have the financial muscles, we assume that they have the technical capacity, right, to handle that sector.
Right.
Well, good. Now, but you see, there's no investor that will come in and put in their money without the assurance or the guarantee that they're going to make their money back. Okay, so it is only natural. I mean, it's an international standard to say, Sheriff, bring me 10 liters of water every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I will pay for it. Then you now say, Tayo, I'll be bringing you 10 liters of water, but what's the guarantee? And I say, okay, don't worry. For so that I supply it, I'll give you this. It's normal. It's normal business practice. Where the challenge is Tayo that called Sheriff to bring water to him. The only capacity that I have in my house to store water, you're laughing. It's about 2 liters.
Yeah.
So when you bring your water, what happens? Your tanker will stay at the gate.
Yeah.
Water will be dripping away. Now, that is even for water that can be stored. Now, let's refer that to an electricity that cannot be stored. The moment they generate it,
they evacuate.
It has to be used.
Right.
Now, we have bottlenecks in transmission. Presently, after all the stress tests, our transmission network cannot do more than 8,000 megawatts. I'm sure you have heard that we presently have a generating capacity of about 13,000 gigawatts.
Yes, we have heard it.
On one end. But the total capacity that the generation companies too can do is roughly about 8,000 megawatts. 8,000 megawatts, right? And again, I'm going to put a little bit of historical background to that.
Yes, please.
As of 2013, that the Gencos were coming on board, the total capacity that they can do was about 4,000 megawatts. They can make available. But today, we have a situation where the capacity has gone from 4 to 8. They've doubled the available capacity. Okay. I'm not talking about the 13,000 megawatt capacity that is generatable. That's the installed capacity.
Okay.
But you see, out of that installed capacity, there are some generating plants that gas has never reached in all their lives. Because there is no gas plant, no gas pipe that pass through the place.
Yeah.
There are some that are not functional for a couple of other reasons. To put that into perspective. So for me, the Gencos have gone from roughly 4,000 to 8,000 available capacity. Now we have a transmission capacity that cannot do more than 8,000 megawatts. What it means is that your borehole can give you 8,000 liters of water, right?
Yeah.
But the tanker that you are using to move the water from your borehole to me,
yes,
only do maybe 6,000 or 5,000 maximum, right? What it means is that because you already received an agreement, a guarantee from me that I'm taking whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
You have invested money to pump 8,000 liters of water out of your river or your
or your borehole, wherever.
From your borehole. But you see, the tanker that will bring water from you to me can only do 6,000 or 5,000. What it means is that for every time you pump out water, you are wasting 3,000 liters. Now, guess what? Me that I'm taking it over from you, I have never taken more than 3,500 liters from you eventually.
Yes.
Are you seeing where we have our issues with losses?
So why did we negotiate such deals when we know what we can take, and then we go ahead and negotiate?
We negotiated such deals because we assumed that all the stakeholders, all the operators along the value chain, right, will do what they are supposed to do. Imagine that as the generation companies are doing 8,000 megawatts, right?
Yeah.
The TCN that remains with the government is also doing 10,000 megawatts willing capacity.
Right.
Basically, what that means is that for everything that you do, the distribution network has not been able to consume more than 3,500, megawatts. I'm very sure you've also heard about the conversation about what was it called? About discos dropping loads, rejecting loads.
Yes.
Good. When they reject that load,
right,
where does it go to? Who pays for that load?
Who pays for the load? Tayo, hold on. Tayo, hold on. We need to go on a break and bring and take the news. When we're done with the news, we'll come back to this nagging issue of power being generated. Somebody's paying for it and it's being wasted. We are back in a moment. Adegbenle joins me via Skype on the show. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Stay with us.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Set your time on 99.3 Nigeria Info, the correct time.
It's 8 o'clock. The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
The Nigerian Medical Association is withdrawing its services from all medical facilities in Cross River State. The association says there are at least 5 COVID-19 positive cases, which the NCDC isn't reporting. It says this has put the lives of healthcare workers in the state at risk. The NMA is also accusing the state government of neglecting its duties. The West Africa Examination Council says the timetable SSC timetable circulating online is fake. The examination body wants Nigerians to disregard the document. And Barcelona forward Lionel Messi provided 2 assists on Sunday to take his total La Liga assists this season to 19, the most of any player since he reached that figure in 2010-2011 season. It happened on a night Barca beat Villarreal 4-1 to keep their slim La Liga title hopes alive. They are 4 points behind Real Madrid. Oh, there you go, Lagos. The news update on Nigeria Info. Yeah, let's get back to the crossfire. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Good morning to you.
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Ishakiri people. The Ishakiri are an ethnic group of Nigeria's Niger Delta area, Delta states. The Ishakiri presently number between 600 and 800,000 people and live mainly in the Warri South, Warri North and Warri Southwest local government districts of Delta State on the Atlantic coast of Nigeria. Significant communities of Ishakiris can be found in parts of Edo and Ondo states and in various other Nigerian cities including Lagos, Sapele, Benin City, Port Harcourt and Abuja. Many people of Ishakiri descent also reside in the United Kingdom, the USA and Canada. The Ishakiris traditionally refer to their land as the Kingdom of Warri, which is geographically contiguous to the area covered by the 3 Warri local government districts. The area is a key center of Nigeria's crude oil and natural gas production and petroleum refining, and the main town forms the industrial and commercial nucleus of the Delta State region. The Ishakiris speak a language very closely akin to Yoruba, but which also significantly influenced by other languages, particularly Portuguese, Edo, and English.
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We're live from our studios here in Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria, but you can view us and listen to us from anywhere in the world. Just log on to our website, nigeriainfo.fm, to listen to us from anywhere. You can stream us live on our website. You can also watch us live right now on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3 on those platforms. Welcome. It's the Morning Crossfire. I'm Sheriff Quadry, and we're talking about Nigeria's power sector, asking a very important question. Can Nigeria ever attain power sufficiency? That is the question we will attempt to answer this morning. Adegbenle from Power Up Nigeria joins me via Skype this morning. You can watch him live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Tayo, again, thank you for remaining with us.
Thank you, Sheriff.
So let's track back a little and continue from where we stopped during the break, and that is the issue of transmission, generation, transmission, and, of course, distribution of power. The challenge that we're faced with, Tayo.
Well, so where were we? We're talking about
The capacity of
generation.
especially the discos.
Now, I'm going to put it back to you now. From the scenario that we've painted,
Right.
I've given you guarantee that whatever you produce, I'm going to take it. I mean, again, you don't also forget that there's a mindset behind this, all right? Which is that Nigeria has energy poverty, okay?
Yeah.
we're energy poor. Some people have said that we need, at different times, a lot of people have said we need 18,000 megawatts to be a bit sufficient, a lot of other issues and everything.
Right.
So it is only imperative that while we are looking at how to solve the problem, there are some people that are looking at, okay, you know what, let's ramp up our generation capacity.